Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us again on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for Office Hours Live with Talking Points. You may have joined us last week. We did our very first live stream here. We talked about positive interactions starting the school year, and this week we're going to talk about student behavior, do some FAQs about Talking Points and your accounts and how you can use it. And I have my name is Paige. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Paige, and I do have my lovely support teammate here, Jocelyn, to help us out with that FAQ a little bit later. So let's get started. We're going to talk about student behavior because I know, as a former teacher, I know just because I'm a human in the United States and I watch the news, that student behavior is kind of always top of mind. It is something that educators, families, everyone is constantly thinking about and having to deal with on a regular basis. So 78% of teachers today are saying that behavior is a top concern. I'm going to put the links to, or the link to where I'm getting this information from in the comments for you if you want to look at the article real quick. There you go. Here it comes. Cool. So yeah, 78% of teachers today are saying behavior is a top concern, and a third of educators described students as unmotivated. That was from an Ed Week April of this year article in a study. So those are pretty big numbers, and student behavior, just having issues with it in the classroom. And we all know this, that behavior impacts student success and your ability to teach in general and their ability to learn. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about family engagement, how it can positively impact student behavior. It can be a difficult conversation when you run into behaviors that are challenging for you in the classroom with students. It can be a difficult conversation to bring up with families. You're not sure how they're going to react. You're not sure if it's a family you've already built a relationship with, if it's brand new family, if you have an expectation because their teacher from last year kind of gave you a rundown. You kind of are set up with different stories with every child, and you're not really sure what it's going to be like. But behavior is always top of mind. So getting ahead of those challenging behaviors in different ways is always what we want to do. And positive relationships can really make the big difference. They can be the game changer, like we talked about last week with families being the game changer, and using those positive interactions and building positive relationships with parents and guardians. That can be your saving grace each year, honestly. So we're gonna walk through like 4 different strategies that you can use to do that. So number 1, get ahead of those difficult conversations with those positive interactions early. I know I keep saying it, I'm kind of a broken record, but like I can't say it enough that starting early with the positive conversations, the introductions, the not asking for anything, not bringing up anything academic first, but just talking to families as people, just introducing who you are, saying how excited you are to have this child in your class, no matter what you know about their previous year, no matter what you might see them doing already, but starting with that positive interaction is number 1. Number 2 is going to be letting the family know that you respect them as the expert in who their child is, because the family is a child's first teacher at home. They care so much about what their child is going to end up doing. Every family wants their child to succeed, and we have to always believe that. We have to expect good intentions from them, and I consider myself still a teacher, so I'm going to say we are experts in the classroom, and we have the professionalism and the knowledge to guide them in the classroom, but we can trust families to give us all that information about who their kid is and what their struggles are, what their strengths are, and help us out in knowing their child quicker, because we only get them for 10 months. And so if we can know them faster, we can work together with their families to partner on guiding them better towards that academic success and social success, honestly. Whatever they're willing to share with you in that partnership can be used towards that success. I know that I talked a little bit last week about Dr. Karen Mapp. She is kind of the guru of family engagement and a Harvard education professor who is an advisor to Talking Points. We love, love, love her. She did an interview with us several months ago, and I want to show you guys one of the clips that is really relevant to this topic of how families are the experts and they know what their child is all about. So check this out. If I can pull it up. Here we go.
The educators then were able to take what they learned from the families and build it into their pedagogical practice. So it benefited their practice in the classroom because now they were learning more about the children, the children's challenges, things that the families had noticed around the home that the children's like to do, that the educators were then able to incorporate into their own practice.
Exactly. So, yeah, that I can't really say it any better than she did. So number 3, one way you can build that relationship with families early on is sharing classroom and school-wide, honestly, expectations with them. Any family, whether they're new to the school system, or just new to your classroom, there are going to be expectations that they're unfamiliar with. And sharing those with them readily, willingly, openly, clearly, is going to build a trust between you and them, where they understand, hey, this is somebody I can come to with questions. I don't have to feel like I don't know what's going on in the classroom with my child, because I know exactly what's expected of them. I know what's expected of me. And I don't have as many questions, but the ones that I do, this is my person and I'm going to come to them. So that trust is the foundation of the relationship you're going to build, so that when those behaviors do arise, when those challenging behaviors do arise, you are the person they trust. So when you have to have those difficult conversations, you've already had these conversations and there's trust there, which makes those conversations a lot easier. And then number 4, that partnership that you have together is going to guide the desired behaviors with the students. Like Dr. Mapp was saying, when you get that information from parents, guardians, families, whoever it is, that's the grown-up at home. When you get information from the grown-up, when you are truly in a partnership, then that motivates students. They know that you are on a team with mom, you're on a team with auntie, you're on a team with grandpa, whoever it is I'm going home with. And that's going to have a real impact on how I behave at school. And that in turn is going to impact my learning. And that's going to impact my success. So it really is kind of a trickle down into the desired behaviors, the desired outcomes that you have in the classroom. So this family engagement, this partnership that you have with these families, starting day 1, starting immediately with those interactions at the beginning, definitely have an impact. So before we get into our FAQ, I do want to talk real briefly about encouraging positive behaviors and discouraging the challenging behaviors. Encouraging positive behaviors is obviously what we want to do the most of. I know you as educators probably have all the research, and it is probably already being thrown at you during PDs if you're already in school, starting those in-service days. But at Talking Points, we like to take an asset-based approach with students, with families. We want to focus on children's strengths. We want to focus on family strengths. That's what people respond to. And so encouraging what students are great at, encouraging what they are doing well, they're going to keep doing those things. And so messaging as early as possible, if you're using Talking Points or sending a note home or calling, talking to families about the good stuff, helps build that trust, helps build that relationship. And then when you do, like I said, have to have that challenging conversation, that difficult conversation about Johnny's not focusing, Johnny's not doing his work, then it's not all they're hearing again after last year was so hard and, oh, it's happening again, I'm just hearing the bad stuff. No, because all they've heard so far is wonderful stuff. So this is just a road bump. We're going to get back to the good stuff again. And even if you have to think of the smallest positive thing to send, like, oh, he, cleaned up after himself at his desk and I didn't even ask him. If that is going to make them smile and it's going to be a positive message home, it's going to have an impact, because those little things they build. Praise, affirmations, anything you can send home. And like I said, it's all about an asset-based conversation with the family. And even asking their insight on what kinds of praise and what kinds of affirmations the child responds to. Is it really saying like, you did a great job doing this, or pats on the back, or whatever it is that they really respond to? Their family's going to know. Remember, they're the experts in their kid and who they are. And then discouraging those negative behaviors, the challenging behaviors that we don't want to see. When those do arise, because we have a class of 20 kids, we know there's going to be something difficult. Sometimes we know exactly who it's going to be, what it's going to be, and we're just waiting for it to happen. You will be better equipped for it to happen when you already have a relationship with the family, even just for a day or two, because it may show up quick. But if you've built that relationship with the family real strong from the beginning, like, hey, I'm so excited to have them. The parent may even warn you. The parent may even say like, hey, he can't focus. I'm sorry, it's going to be a tough year. And you can say, no, I just want to get to know you. I'm excited that he's in my class. We're going to have a great year. And then when that behavior does show up, they're going to be so shocked by how positive you were that they're going to be more receptive to your approach with that challenging behavior. The positivity, the willingness to partner with them rather than to blame them or to say something against them with the behavior, but asking for their expertise, asking for their help because you are in a partnership. That's what it's about. So yeah, I hope that's a little bit helpful. It might be all things that you know, but it is so impactful for us to have these partnerships with families so that the kids can thrive. So we're going to move into our FAQ time. So if you already have your Talking Points account started, or you're curious about it and you want to get started, we're going to talk about using that account to communicate with families. I have Jocelyn here from support, so she can send us some questions, and you are welcome to throw some into the chat and we'll answer those as well, because that's why we're live. I've already got a couple from Jocelyn here. Jocelyn, do you want to answer them out loud or ask them out loud, or I can just start doing what we did last week? Looks like we might be having microphone issues again. So I'm just going to jump right in. First question, how can I add students and contacts to Talking Points? I'm going to share my screen. So here we go. I'm going to actually put it like this. Here we go. All right. So again, my account, I don't have real students anymore. So it looks kind of funny with all the goodbyes and things. I test with my account. So ignore the actual messages. But when you are on your account, I'm going to remove that so you can see a little bit better. If you want to add students and contacts, you would go to classes. You will need to create a class first, but since the question is about students and contacts, I'm going to assume that you have already created your class. And to do that, you would just click add class, name it, and then we would start adding students. So I'm going to go into my social studies class. I only have one student here now, but then I will go to add students, and I can do this a few different ways. So one of the ways is if I want to add new students and contacts, meaning they are nowhere in my account yet, they are brand new to my account, that's where I would click here. Adding existing students from other classes means they're already in like this class or this class, and I just want to move them over, copy them over to this additional class. So that's what this button means. These two are for asking families to join so that I don't have to do the work. They can join with like a code. And then this button down here downloads translated letters that I can print and send home, or that I can attach to an email. And they are translated in a whole bunch of languages that I can send home, and they have the code to my specific class. So they're personalized. They have my name on it, and that's super awesome. So up here, let's add a brand new student. If my student's name is Bryn, and say her mom's name is Paige, her mother, you have to select language because can't send a message if we don't know how to translate it or not translate it. And then there must be a phone number. It needs to be a cell phone number because this is a text-based system. I think I can do this. Alrighty. And then they will just pop up in your account as soon as it refreshes. There she is. I didn't give her a last name, but you probably will. And there she is. So second question, do you offer shared messaging? We do. Shared messaging can be enabled for families using the mobile app only. So I actually have links for articles that help answer these two questions so far. I'm going to put these in the chat as well. That first link is for adding students. This second one is for shared messaging. So shared messaging is for families who, if a student has multiple parents, multiple guardians who want to communicate with the teacher, but also want to see each other's messages, they would have to both opt in to shared messaging. So it's like group messaging versus a one-to-one thread with the teacher. It's only on mobile for the family. So I can't show it right here. I do believe I could pull up the article and show you that. So let me stop my screen share and share a different screen. Yes. So it looks like this. So this student has, this mother or father has a student, and they turn on shared messaging because there's another parent there. and then they'll be able to see each other's messages. All right. I want Jocelyn to confirm, are you guys able to hear me? Hopefully my mic is working. I know Jocelyn's wasn't. Okay, cool. Y'all can hear me. Another question she got today was, how can I use message templates to engage families? This is one of our really cool features that will save you so much time engaging families, is our messaging templates. I'm putting the link in the chat. And then I'm going to share my screen one more time. Go back to my Talking Points account. So if I am sending messages, oh, I'm clicking the wrong screen. If I want to send a message, I would select my recipients. So let's say I'm sending to Bryn's family, Heather and Laura. And then if this is a message that I send frequently, it may be that every day I want to message the families of absent students. It could be that this is a message every Thursday to remind people there's a test on Friday, or anything that is a frequently sent message. We have templates. So down here where it says view templates, I'm clicking the wrong screen again. Suggested templates are the ones that come from us that we have typed out for you. Certain themes that we know that teachers are going to talk about frequently. So-and-so is absent. Someone's having trouble following instructions. So-and-so was having a great day. So this is a really good positive message to send home. Doing a great job on their lesson. So lots of different messages you could send home, and they have these customizable fields like student first name. So if I did send that to these 3 families, they would each receive it with their child's own name in it. So it would seem a lot more personal. It wouldn't be like a whole announcement. It would just be one-on-one to each, but save me a ton of time. So those are the templates that we make for you. But then if you type out a message that you want to use every week, but it's specific to your class or something that you do, then you can click Save as Template, and that will go in your saved messages. So these are ones that I've created, like, don't forget school will be closed tomorrow because of the holiday. I made that really generic so that if there's a specific holiday coming up that I know we're going to be closed for, I can just send that each time that happens. Test on Friday, make sure everybody gets lots of sleep, homework's due tomorrow, things like that that you know you're going to want to send frequently. Pop the template in there, send it to everybody. Save you lots of time. Love templates. Again, if anybody has any other questions, you can throw them in the chat. While I wait for those questions, though, I want to share with you this week's challenge. Let me switch to my screen. So last week we challenged you to send an announcement sharing a fun fact about yourself to introduce yourself to your families, and I hope you're still doing things like that because it is back to school and some people still haven't gone back yet, which is crazy to me. But this week's challenge, as we talk about student behavior and continuing to start with positivity, I want you to send an announcement to your families with your classroom expectations. So that could be just in a message, or you could also attach a file to a message from your Google Drive, or simply from your desktop. You can attach a file that has your newsletter, your classroom expectations, your rules, any way that you can share information so that families are prepared for what's to come. So that's your challenge this week. And if you come up with like a creative way to do that, something that you're really proud of that you send out, we would love to see it. So if you follow us on social media, you want to share it with us, go ahead and tag us. And I can share, let's see, this. So if you don't follow us yet, scan this and you can find us on just about every social media platform that you're probably on and start following us and find out the new features that we put out, see when we're going live, and share some of your cool ideas on talking points with us, because we love to see the fun ways teachers are engaging their families. So yeah, if there are any other questions popping up, I will be hanging out, Jocelyn and I, for a few more minutes. But that is our office hours live this week. Oh, I see something in the chat. Yep, here's a question. It might be on a very case-by-case basis, but how many times a day, weekly or monthly, would you recommend reaching out to families? I really want to connect and increase engagement. That's a great question. Honestly, that's going to be case by case, like you said. So it depends on what relationship you build with the family. I think one of the early questions that you can ask or conversations you can have with a family is, how often do you want to communicate with me? Some families want to know every day, how's my child doing? Some families would get concerned if they're hearing that often from the school. Some teachers want to set a goal of like, I'll reach out one-on-one to 3 families each day to just kind of set that personal goal and not overwhelm themselves. And then do class-wide announcements only when it's necessary. So it's kind of case by case by student and by teacher. And then talking to the families to see what their preference is, because I know some families have a preferred way to communicate and a preferred cadence. So I know that's not a hard and fast answer, but it definitely does depend on preferences and conversations that you have with the families. So I hope that does help a little bit. And if you did miss last week's live stream, it is available on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We talked about those early positive interactions, just in general, not specific to behavior or anything like that, but starting the school year off in a positive way. So, and we did some different talking point specific FAQs, so you may want to check that out. Got just a couple minutes left. But I think we're pretty good. I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday tomorrow and that your week is great, and that we will see you next Thursday to talk about, I believe we might be talking attendance and how family engagement impacts attendance. So join us again next week, 4:30 Central, right here for Talking Points Office Hours Live. And yeah, we'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Yeah, we will see ya. Bye-bye.